Super Awkward Funcast. You're listening to the Super Awkward Funcast. Yeah. You know, this could have all been prevented if the FBI actually gave a shit and could have done something.
Do you watch Homeland?
I do not anymore. I stopped watching after they killed off that.
Oh, they killed off Damien's
character. Damien's character.
Yeah, Damien. So in the last season, in the season before this one, they have like a Trump-like president, but she's a liberal, right? She's a liberal. She had a son in the army. He got killed. She like rode this wave of public support and became president. And she's very sort of hard line on what she does. Yeah, because Homeland now is sort of like the resistance is the conservative movement. And the liberal movement is like, we're going to crush them. And it's really interesting. It's funny.
Yeah.
But the president finds out, like Carrie Matheson finds out that there's like a conspiracy within the CIA to sort of discredit the president, right? And they're coming to her to try to help him. So Dar, right? He's Ephraim Abraham plays this character, Dar, who is like the head of the CIA. And so he sits down with the president. He tells her flat out, Madam President, you don't want to go against your intelligence agencies. That's the biggest mistake you can possibly make. Right, so that's how I feel about this Trump thing, where he came out and was like, and it was almost around the same time as the beginning of the campaign. So Trump was sort of calling out the CIA and calling out the FBI as being corrupt organizations or mismanaged.
As Chuck Schumer said, they have 6 ways to Sunday to get back at you.
Right. So, and then suddenly you have this storyline on TV where it's like, Madam President, don't mess with your intelligence agencies. And I'm thinking that's the same thing here, where it's the liberals are flip-flopping the FBI all the time, right? Suddenly this Comer guy is like the greatest guy in the world. Oh my God, he's the greatest. Oh, suddenly he's a rat snake, right?
He's the worst. He's the best. And he's the worst. He's the best.
And it's gone flip-flop several times. But I think all of these things are testers for how people react to the media now.
Yeah.
I think they do these things to see how people will react, gauge their reactions, and then create a narrative for them to follow.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because right now, the liberal constituency, the younger liberal constituency, is trapped in Harry Potter. Like, they're trapped in a movie narrative, right? You have this movie villain in Trump. Yeah. Don't say his name, like Voldemort, right? Don't say his name.
Yeah.
Everybody wants...
Don't say President Trump.
Right,
oh, my God.
Right, don't say President Trump. Like, it's going to do anything.
Like the people who wouldn't say President Obama, people who wouldn't say...
Right,
I didn't call him President Bush because he didn't actually become president, but that's just me.
No. He became president.
Hanging chads. Well, whatever. The court case.
Yeah, but he was still president. And when he was president, I was like, okay, we'll let him do his job. Like, if he thinks he can do it, let him do it. I don't have to like him, but I do have to live here. So, and plus, when it comes to the end of the day, none of this stuff affects me. Because, it affects me in a way, but not really, because I'm going to keep doing what I need to do.
Oh, that's another thing they do. Oh, you're so privileged. Oh, my gosh. You're so privileged. You get to decide who you want to vote for.
You're like, goddamn right I am. That is part of living in America. I am fucking privileged. I'm privileged to live here. And I'm privileged to have the rights and the things that I have. People are like, there should be no borders. I'm like, go fucking live in a country without borders, dude. Step outside of our borders and try to live there.
It's not a utopia, I guess.
Living in these imaginary lines is the best
There's
thing
a lot of stuff in Sweden going on, like with people, mainly men, coming in and raping women. Sure. That happens
that's my favorite,
a lot.
My favorite argument is about Denmark, right? Denmark this and Denmark, people are like, Denmark. I'm like, Denmark has a very strict anti-refugee policy, and they fucking hate Muslims. They don't let minorities into their country. It's very hard for an American to go into Denmark and become a citizen there, because they keep all that clamp down. And why do you think things work for them there? Because they're fascistic. Like, they're clamping down. They're not a democracy there, even though they claim to be. They're not.
I've never seen anything from Denmark.
Well, that's what people are talking about, like, their school rate. I've
never seen any TV shows from Denmark. I've seen a lot of different TV shows.
There's some.
I haven't seen any of them. I don't know how liberal they are actually liberal.
They're liberal
in their language or whatever.
They're liberal.
Because we are super unliberal when it comes to TV. We're just getting
the Scandis.
Yeah.
We call them the Scandis, right? The Norway, Sweden, Finland, and
Norway's pretty cool because they have scum.
Yeah, but Norway is also a very fascistic state, right? Remember the guy that shot up those people? Why was he angry? Do you remember why he was so angry that he shot up that school and stabbed those kids? He was angry because the old Norway and the new Norway are fighting together, and he wanted the old Norway, right? So things are changing for them there. The Scandis are very liberal in terms of their lifestyle, but very, very conservative in terms of who they let into their countries. They're very, very white countries. So they're not the greatest.
Well, that's what Scum would talk about a lot. And then Scum's coming here, like Scum. It's Scum, like SKAM. It means shame. So it's a really popular show that's going out to different countries, and it's actually about the divide it's about healing the divide between all of these different ethnicities and all these different people. But it's in a very realistic. If you watched it, you would understand. But like it's a very realistic depiction of teenagers in school and how they interact with each other. And there's arguments and there's, love and all that shit. And then there's a Muslim character that has to learn certain things about culture. And then, but I'm putting it very simplistic because it's so much more than that. And there's so much going on in that show, and it does have a multicultural kind of aspect to it. No, it's not boring.
It sounds super boring.
It's not boring. I'm making it sound boring.
It sounds like the Norwegian Degrassi High.
It's not Degrassi. It's way better. It's like Skins. It's basically like Skins.
Skins is boring too.
Whatever. I can't.
Try that show. I don't know. Try both versions of that.
You haven't watched Scum. You need to watch one episode of Scum and tell me what you think.
Scum. I keep thinking of American Horror Story Cult when you say Scum.
Well, some people say Scam, but Scam isn't right.
But that makes sense, though. That makes more sense to say Scam because,
Yeah.
You think Scum, I think of Lena Dunham.
Yeah, seriously. Shout out to Lena.
Did you watch that show? AHS Cult last season?
No.
God damn, you should watch
it. Oh, yeah. I watched AHS Cult for sure. I definitely watched that. But then it got weird with the Charlie Manson shit. And then Charles Manson died not too long ago afterwards. That was creepy.
I love that. Because I knew a guy that was in those episodes, the Charles Manson episodes. And I
don't know why I called him Charlie. I apologize.
That's all right. He's Charlie. Charlie
I know him pretty well.
Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Chuck.
Good old Chili.
He's dead now. It doesn't matter.
But my friend was on those episodes. He's like, dude, you're not going to believe what's going to happen. Like, Evan Peters plays all these different cult leaders.
He's so good.
Yeah,
he should have. I mean, if awards meant anything, he would have been nominated and gotten an award.
I thought he did get nominated for that.
He didn't get nominated for Tate either, and Tate was amazing.
I thought he got nominated. I don't know. But he's great. He's brilliant. Like, those shows are brilliant. I'm just waiting for Ryan Murphy to go down, but people like him.
Why don't you go down, you fucker?
Well, he's in the same social sphere as the Ryan Singers of the world. So
Brian Singer.
Brian Singers.
Yeah.
Ryan Singer's a cool person. And
people making a big deal about Ryan Seacrest, like on the red carpet, like he got accused of something.
Like I was like 5'0". Who cares?
Oh my gosh, stay away from Ryan Seacrest. He might grope you. I mean, he is short. He's fucking harmless, really.
Yeah, and so what if he, tried to hit on some chick? Like, that's the dude, man. Like, again, alpha males, right? Like,
I guess he's not gay after all.
Maybe he is.
Right, Kathy?
Maybe this is the full disclosure here to try to, the ultimate misdirect, right? Well, he groped women. He's in trouble. But did anybody say there were women? I don't know.
It was a woman,
okay.
yeah.
I don't know if it was.
It was revealed way later.
Is it a trans woman that used to be a man? Maybe I don't know.
There's no difference now. There's no difference, and you can't say anything.
No, I don't. I try not to.
Yeah. Don't say anything about anyone.
No,
you will be fine.
I mean, I don't care. Like I've always had a philosophy that I will address anyone the way they want to be addressed. But I always thought the embarrassment's on you. It's not on me. If you want to be called, especially back in the day when it wasn't, very prevalent.
Yeah.
If you had a guy dressed like a girl and wanted to be called a girl, I'm like, that's cool with me. And you're the one being a fool, dude. Like, you're the one walking around with your flower hat and your full beard. Like, that's cool, man. Like, let people judge you, but I'm not going to judge you. You be who you want, right?
That's been around for so long, too.
Yeah, I know.
It's like they act like it just started happening.
Well, I had a lot of aunts.
The people wanted to do that.
Any Mexican-American kid has a lot of aunts who always look like men. Like, they always have their hair shaved. They always live with other women. I have 2 aunts that live together that I know now were lovers. I didn't know that at the time. But...
Oh, that reminds me... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
That reminds me of the Wachowskis.
Yeah, Wachowskis.
What the hell? That's so crazy.
That's cool. Like Lana Wachowski's
it's just weird because of my, my childhood is Wachowski brothers.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
Oh, they're sisters now. It's so weird.
And I think that's awesome because, it didn't diminish the quality of what they were doing. And,
oh, no, it has nothing to do with it. But or it has something to do with it, especially with Sense8. But well, a lot.
It's like, how can we make a porn that everybody's going to watch, let's make this show, which is a brilliant show. I love that show, too.
It's really expensive too, and that's why they canceled it.
Yeah, well, they're having a movie, so that's going to be good, and
that's why it didn't go on. Well, I think that's basically like the budget was just too much.
Well, I also think that
justify
putting something like that, because we're not 100% to the level where people are going to accept that. We're probably like 40%.
Yeah.
Nationally. So when he puts him like
I think we're closer to 50 because I think a lot of conservatives are really on board with like gay people, but like the trans thing is like the new. People, right? I feel like the trans thing is the new gay thing now.
Well, there's a difference between
in terms of like hatred. Like there's a lot.
There's a difference between accepting
or
accepting the gay lifestyle, I guess, and accepting the promotion of the lifestyle. There's two different things there. So you might have a conservative like down with gay people, but it isn't about shouting it. It isn't about putting it in people's faces and wagging their dicks in their face, right? So I think that's what Sense8 did. Sense8 pushed that right.
Put a dick in my face.
Put a dick right in your face and put it up the front. Not that I'm saying that's wrong.
It's a nice dick.
I'm secure enough. It's a tactic, to bring attention. But I think a lot of the middle America people aren't going to watch that shit because they're going to be like, I don't need to see that. And I'm telling you, there's more people like that than there are not right now. And they're
less vocal, I think.
Well, that's the thing, is they're less vocal, but we bring them out, right? We bring them out. And once they realize that, you know what, Sam, who's run the pharmacy my whole life, he's dressing like a woman now. Once they see it kind of happening in their little towns, either they're going to
kind of like with the gay thing.
Yeah, either they'll kill and drag those people behind a truck, or they'll accept it. And at some point, it's going to happen to the point where Newt Gingrich, right, his daughter. It's his daughter, right? Newt Gingrich's daughter is the one that's a lesbian.
I don't know. I think that's.
I thought he had a gay relative, but
Lynn Cheney. No, Dick Cheney.
Well, he does have a lesbian daughter, right? But anyway, these politicians are going to see this is your wife, this is your husband, this is your daughter, this is your son, it's your brother, it's your friend. It's it's going to happen eventually where
it has to reach them, just like war.
Right, but it also has to burn off the sort of Me Too fate, not Me Too in terms of pound Me Too, but the sort of like, I think that might be me. I'm going to try dressing like a woman for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not. I'm going back to be a man. Right.
Oh my gosh. I don't want to say this out loud. Okay, I knew someone. I'm just going to say I knew someone who transitioned, seemingly, like they had boobs, and he was a man, and he went by a name that was male, and he continued to go by a male name. A male masculine name, we'll say that. And then, like, I don't even know if it was a year later, he was a woman. He was a man again.
Yeah.
And he's been a man ever since. And I worked with him.
You tried it out, it didn't work.
I think he still has boobs, but they're like weird. Man boobs.
Well, he might be a cammer. I dated a girl who we broke up because she was lesbian. And
that'll do it.
She ended up going back to another guy, and got married and had kids, and then took the kids and broke up with the guy and became a lesbian again. So it's like you have to burn that part off. There are people who make it a choice. That's just a fact. I'm not saying that homosexuality is always a choice, but there are people who choose to live their lives that way. People choose don't. There's people who are unhappy with who they are. They choose to be someone else, and it works for them. Some people are unhappy with who they are. They choose to do something else, and it doesn't work for them.
A lot of people say, and I don't know if they're right, because I don't want to give them anything over anyone else, but a lot of people will say that you need to work on the inside before you work on the outside. And there is some truth to that. But because I think until you've figured out exactly who you are inside your vessel, then you will know like where to go with the outside.
Yeah.
It's ultimately none of this shit matters. Like what we have on the outside, as long as we're good on the inside, that's all that really counts.
Well, and that's fine and dandy, but the world don't work that way.
I know the world don't work that way, but I'm just saying, like
you can.
There are some there are situations where mentally ill people will think, okay, I got to change this about myself.
And that's fine.
And there's body dysmorphia. There's sort of things.
And there's all these things, but I'm not talking about.
But I'm
here
saying
in Los Angeles,
in certain situations.
In Los Angeles, you get a little more acceptance. I'm talking about the guys that like in Podunk, Indiana, who are a young man who's sitting there, thinking feeling he's gay, he probably is, and not knowing how to come out, or feeling he's a woman inside, not knowing how to do that, and not being able to do that ever. Because it doesn't matter to what conclusion he comes on inside. If he started dressing like a woman, his family would fucking beat his ass and drag him out of a truck. So there is still a lot of that. Just like there's still a lot of racism, there's still a lot of trans and homophobia going on. In the rest of America, we're kind of insulated from that here because we're in a culture where everybody wants to be accepted, in a culture that's built on pretend and make believe, and in glamour, people accept it a little more here, and I found myself being a lot more tolerant of that stuff living out here than I was living back home, which would not be acceptable, so It's time, and people, like I said, people want to have it right now. They want to have it right now. Well, 3 million women marched at this thing. Well, 3 million went out to this thing to get their pictures on Instagram with the pussy outs on. That's really why they're there. But maybe there was 50,000 of them there that actually were doing something.
And if it's on the news, it's probably not a real protest.
Well, that's the thing. Do you ever see a movie called? There was a movie about the beginning of CNN. And it was an HBO movie, and it was very, very interesting. I recommend to watch it.
I'm sure it started out with good intentions.
Well, it's just the way that it was. So there's these things going on in the Gulf. This guy decides he wants to send a news crew out there for the 20-hour news cycle. What are we going to fill it up with? Luckily, this thing happens, right? So he sends a news crew out to Iraq, and he's hanging out there, and they go out to film this protest. So they show up, and there's all these Iraqis like protesting America, burning these flags, effigies of George Bush, all this stuff going on. They turn the cameras off. The soldiers are like, okay, you're done, and everything just calms down and closes up, and they all leave. And that's how I feel that's what happens. The cameras turn on them. They're like, rah, 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 look at my cool sign. And then it's like, then the cameras turn off and they're back, sipping their lattes and doing their thing.
There's like a sign that was like, we'd be at brunch right now if it were Hillary Clinton was
right, they would be, but they're going to go to brunch after, right? Like I have a friend who has this really activist friend who's super annoying to me because she's one of the people, again, who's intelligent, but she's not very smart. Yeah. So she just comes across as blustery. Every reaction to everything is always like, men this, men that. It's horrible. Ugh. So she went down to march for Black Lives Matter. She's Mexican. She goes down to march for Black Lives Matter. They get done, and they call my friend. They're like, oh, we couldn't make it to the thing. Well, why don't you meet us at this vegan restaurant in Silver Lake? We're eating here. And my friend's like, well, why aren't you eating in a black-owned business? Like, there's plenty downtown. Like, I can tell you 3 right now. If you want to go to a vegan restaurant, I can tell you 3 right now owned by black people. Why aren't you eating there?
Go eat Ethiopian.
Right, go eat Ethiopian food, right? It's right down the street on Wilshire. So it's our Pico, or whatever street that is. And they're like, okay, well, why didn't you go to a black-owned business if you're going to march for Black Lives Matter? Were you scared of black people? What's happening? And so she burned her friend, and I thought that was a great burn. Because I'm like, well, yeah, why wouldn't she go do that? Because she is out there marching for a racial subset of people that she doesn't belong to. She supposedly is like, oh, I want to help black people, but she's not 100% in it. She's there for the Instagram, right? She's there to say I was there. But if you're gonna do it all the way. I don't know. The manager of my Ralph's is black, so I'm happy with that. That's how I contribute. I know him by name. He's nice.
I was there when they were protesting the first really publicized death by cop of a black kid. In Hollywood, they had the whole protest, and I happened to be there with my camera, so I took pictures, and it was just so interesting, and it was so many different people, and it just got co-opted so quickly, and then division.
It does, and I was just thinking about that yesterday about something. I wish I could remember what it was I was thinking about, but the corporatization of these things, and sort of the way that the media locks into these things. And makes them these huge causes, but again, it's a distraction, and it's a distraction disguised as activism.
Oh, remember the WikiLeaks with the help out the Black Lives Matter, but don't do anything policy-wise for them.
Well, and the Russian thing is the new version of that, where it's the Russians are the safe enemy because they're white. And I think that, we can't have.
And if you said we got to get these Mexicans out of this country. My gosh, people will be up in arms. But you say, Russians need to stop coming into the country. No. There's too many Russians in the country.
Look at all the taco trucks. The Mexicans have been colluding in the Americans forever. We've been infiltrating your culture forever. We have tacos, we have Mexico, we have Adobe places in New Mexico.
Spanish is the first language they ask you if you can speak on the phone.
Right. So, the Mexican government, the Mexican culture has been infiltrating American culture forever. I did meet one person in life who'd never seen a tortilla. That was back in the 80s.
Wow.
Now I'm sure Pennsylvania, they have plenty of taco stands there. But so the culture has invaded your side. Sorry, and Chinese food has been here forever, guys. It's happening.
Yeah. By the way, we didn't come from here. Just saying.
No, but we took it. We reasonably and legitimately conquered this land. Oh, not me.
I don't think.
We did first, and then they conquered us. But it was of course legitimate.
Natives were here first.
Well, but everybody's here first. Everybody's somewhere first, and then someone takes it away from that. It's just the nature of humanity. It's a nature
I don't
of
like
spread.
that.
You don't have to like it. It's just the way.
I don't have to like it, but I don't like it.
Yeah, but that's what it is. People are like, well, the Europeans were legal immigrants. No, they were conquerors. The Spanish were conquerors.
They were.
It's a different thing. So if you go and take something by force that somebody else has, that's what happens. It's the dirty side of humanity. It's the dirty side of culture. That's what happens.
Well, we shouldn't forget it either.
No,
and we shouldn't take down. Oh, here's another thing that they do, like the Confederate statues and everything.
Yeah, you could take that shit down.
I mean,
I would say fine. It's like that's fine. They lost. Fuck them.
I mean, I don't care if they do, but I'm saying.
No, I don't care if they do either. But I'm okay with it. Like
I'm okay with it too. But like I'm saying, like there's something to be said about knowing the history and everything.
Well, there is, and I don't look at it in terms of like erasing history. Obviously, that stuff happened. But what I don't like is that the bullied become the bullies. And so when they take them down, they don't do it quietly. They do like,
I know. It's all about the likes and everything.
And if you're going to tease somebody over something you're doing to them, they're going to get angry at you.
Exactly.
And, regardless if it's right or wrong. Because I actually do believe it's right to tear those fucking statues down because...
I don't care about statues,
well, symbolically, it's...
I don't care about symbols. I leave symbols to the symbol-minded.
George Carlin. But our whole lives... are engaged in symbolism.
Not mine.
Yes, yours is too.
No.
Yes, it is. Because I'm sure you chose this brand of laptop for some reason, you look at
because it has gaming ability.
Right, but it's still you could find another laptop that has it, but you need it for a reason. So there is something to say for symbology though, because I think we all exist that way. We all have things.
I don't like corporate symbols. I don't like
even if you have any philosophy at all,
anything.
If you have any philosophy at all, you're engaging in symbolism and metaphor because philosophies are just one person's point of view.
I agree with that.
I
guess I'm just thinking of like things representing things, and I don't really care about the flag either.
Well, you don't have to, but it still represents principles nonetheless. There are principles. Yeah, it does. It represents the freedom of speech. It represents the freedoms that we enjoy here. And even though those things seem to be in question, we're being told that they're being attacked. They're really still here because you and I can talk about this right now, and we don't have to worry about fucking guys in suits banging to the door and taking us away. So we have a freedom of speech that exists here that may not exist someplace else. We do have the ability.
At the moment, we do, but it is being attacked on a daily basis by these corporations.
Yes and no, because we can, like you and I can still build a business together, make money, and become millionaires if we wanted to. We could do that. It takes a lot of hard work, but we could do that if we want to. You can't do that everywhere. So that's one of the freedoms we have here, and that flag represents that. Now, and I think that people
doesn't represent that to me.
Well, but that's the thing is that when you tear away people's traditions and you tear away the symbology,
I feel like flags are really tied to war, and that's why I don't
yes and no.
like them.
But every country is born of war. Every country has been born of violence. This country is born of violence.
Which needs to stop.
But it can't stop. Because the reason that we are born of violence...
Because they're making so much money. It's nothing
the reason
to do
we
with
were born
us.
of violence is because the government that was in charge of us in the revolution, or the British, were very oppressive to us and using their guns on us, killing us and to keep us under control,
They're still
our
oppressive.
money and our guns, right? But not to us. So
Yeah,
we just had different kind of guns, we used different kind of military tactics, and we kicked the fucking British out of America with the help from the French and the help from the Canadian French.
I don't like the we thing, because we're not alive at this point.
But we're Americans. So,
I'm not American.
Yes,
I'm a
are.
human.
You're American. If you want to be a human, you can go someplace else and see what humanity's like on just the other side of the Mexican border. Go spend some time there in the port.
All I'm saying is that it boils down to
running back to this country.
It boils down to the fact that we're all human, and I don't see.
Well, we're humans, but the subset of human is American. Just as there are French people, and just as there are British people, just as there are German people.
I'm a U.S. citizen.
Right, you're a U.S.
American.
citizen. So with that citizenship. With that citizenship comes certain privileges that other people don't get to enjoy, and that's what the flag represents. Now, I'm not a flag waving patriot, but I am a patriot of this country. I do believe in the principles that the country was founded on, and I believe that we are still the best country in the world. Maybe our government isn't that great right now; it hasn't been that great for the 20 years, but the people,
more than that.
But the people are the heart of that, and the people now are being misled, and that's taking away our power. Before we can always blame it on our government, right? We can always say, "Oh, well, George Bush is an asshole, but I'm not an asshole." But now you can say, well, Donald Trump's an asshole, but that guy's an asshole too. These people are assholes. Like, you're right. The Americans are becoming the assholes everybody always wanted them to be. That's what's happening now. And before I could say with credible circumstance that none of my friends were assholes like that. None of them were dicks. They weren't the ugly Americans. Maybe there's some people like that, but not my friends. But now a lot of the people that I consider friends are the ugly Americans. They're loud. They're boisterous. They have these weird philosophies that don't make any sense. They don't enjoy the privilege of where they live. And again, privilege. We are privileged to live here. We're very privileged. We're very privileged to live in California. That's a very big deal.
I agree.
We have a privilege because of where we are, because of those
but
borders,
that
because
does
of those
not
boundaries.
influence it. People want it to influence the way you vote, and so that you will vote against yourself in order to achieve something for someone else.
I just don't vote. And then people are like, why didn't you vote? I said, because I see the sham. And I don't understand why people don't see the sham. Like, I don't get it.
It is a sham.
It makes me frustrated because I'm like, why don't you
don't vote.
Yeah, don't vote or vote for something else, or write in something or go run for office, or do something, learn something.
You'll learn a lot if you run for office.
But I see people every day being manipulated by the media, and I see them falling. Like, I see them falling like dominoes. Where, like, I'll have somebody like yourself who I'll talk to, and you're very level-headed and even-minded, and you'll understand sort of, there's no real benefit to partisanship right now. Like, we need to, like you were saying, we need to work together, and we need to understand. We need to pull the wool back. And I think actually Donald Trump is helping with all of that. I think it's really the side effect of him is that people are waking up and people are seeing that they can be involved, right? This activism, this awareness, these people going to politics happened because of him. That's why I feel he was the right person at the right time. If Hillary Clinton was on board, I don't think that would have happened. I think people would have been just like laying back and okay, everything's cool, and they would have continued doing what they were doing behind the scenes, and no one would give a fuck. Except for the Russians who we'd probably be fighting right now. But I think with Trump, everybody's like, what, and like, see this, right? So the meek that inherit the internet, they see a high school bully up there, and he portrays himself that way. He portrays himself to whoever needs to see him, whatever way he needs to be seen. That's what he does. That's why he manipulates the media.
And then he says that shit like he did with the guns thing was fucking hilarious. Seeing the reaction, like, there was no reaction because they didn't know what to say. Because he was like, "Oh my gosh, it's like he's a Democrat right now.
Right,
what the fuck is he saying?"
And
he actually was a Democrat at one point. You idiots.
No, he was, and he's not even Republican. He wanted to run independently, but he needed the GOP money, just like Bernie ran for a Democratic ticket. He needed the money, right? Hilarious. And and let's take a second to see if Bernie was here, what would happen. I think he'd be having the same stonewalling effect that Trump has got.
I honestly think, I hate to say this because I voted for the dude, but with what he's saying now, I think it would have gone the way of Obama. I think there would be a lot like co-option of the war situation, people being okay with war yet again, but now they're against war again because it's a Republican.
Well, and Bernie, I think.
And he supported drone strikes and
he was a very ineffective governor. I mean, he's good for a state.
He's not good on foreign policy.
I mean, for a senator. He's not good on foreign policy, but I honestly don't think. I think foreign policy. I think Trump has the right ideas. Like,
he would have gotten stonewalled for sure.
He would have been stonewalled by his own Congress because the Democrats didn't like him.
Exactly.
And he wasn't supposed to win. I think if he won, he would have to fight uphill for.
He would be like a different version of Trump.
Right. No, and that was my thinking when I saw that with the triumvirate.
A more okay version of Trump.
Well, a more acceptable to the liberals version of Trump.
Yeah.
But he would have been hated by both sides just like Trump is.
Exactly.
So it's that, and that's why when I saw Hillary, Trump, Bernie, I was like, it has to be the Trump or Bernie. It's got to be. You and I talked about this. It has to be Trump or Bernie. It can't be Hillary because she's blew it. And now Elizabeth Warren is blowing it. It's like, because I love her, and then, and even in the face of all this documented vitriol she has for Hillary Clinton, she still had the balls to stand up and say, well, okay, Hillary Clinton's a bitch. Like, no. And people are like, oh yeah, we need Bernie and Elizabeth to run. I'm like, first of all, Elizabeth's not a presidential person. I would like to see her as Secretary of State, Secretary of Finance, like in charge of the economy of the country, like Alan Greenspan level. Like, she would do a great job there because policy is not one thing, but money, she knows it. She understands like how the economic system works, and she might be the one to root out Goldman Sachs from the government of this country, because that's really where it's coming from. Is Goldman Sachs runs the money of this country, and I think that's where Trump runs into problems. Where he's like, I'll just pluck that guy out of there. You can't do that. Mm-mm. He had to play ball with him too, because every president got to play ball with him. They had our money for hundreds of years.
Yeah,
they have a whole code in the system there. You can't just pull somebody out of that shit. They'll be like, oh yeah, watch what happens if you do that to us. I mean, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton gave their firstborn child to Goldman Sachs. Their firstborn kid, their only kid, went over to Goldman Sachs, like some kind of like weird demon sacrifice. Like, they went over there. So and that's the real problem. The problem isn't Trump, because Trump doesn't deal with those banks. He deals with foreign governments. Like, that's how he got his money. By skipping the banking system of the U.S. and going to foreign interest. That's what a businessman does, who's smart. Mm-hmm. It's being turned against him now, but that's what he does. So he has no beholding power to Goldman Sachs or Lehman Marcus or any of the other fucking banks that are out still, Wells Fargo.
I love NRA. He can deal with the NRA. He has nothing to do with the NRA. He's fine with the NRA.
People seem to forget that
he can manipulate them.
His personal campaign was completely financed by himself. His
not completely.
Well, his primary campaign,
but mostly.
His primary campaign was completely funded by himself and his followers. But once he got into the GOP, he had to take that money because that's where they get their money. And he didn't have the tens of millions of dollars that he would need to run the GOP. The whole point was to get to the primaries, get to the general, and the GOP is going to pay for everything. And the problem with that is that the GOP is beholden to all these special interests. So he has to sort of like be involved with them just intrinsically because that's how the GOP works. But I can tell you right now, for the next election, that's not how it's going to work. Like, it's really going to change up. And the Democrats are going to have to find somebody who is
not a Democrat.
Because it's not Democrats, it's liberals and conservatives now, right? It's ideologies now. It's not even political parties, which is what Osama bin Laden wanted, right? He wanted us fighting over ideologies and to destroy our federal government. That's what he wanted. And the whole price for that, just give him a little Muslim state in the U.S. That's all we want, right? Weirdo.
Watch out.
Oh, sorry. So, but now it's happening, you know. And I think,
did you ever see that video of the interview with CNN and Osama bin Laden from 1997? You should watch that.
I think I might have.
It's hilarious. Like,
I think I might have seen
it's
that.
fucked up. It's like he's telling you right to your face, he's gonna fuck with you, and you don't do shit.
Well, I remember the quote I remember from him is like, we don't hate the American people. We don't want to see the American people dead. We want to see their government destroyed because their government is corrupt. Yeah. The American people are being lied to and masqueraded over by their government. We just want to stop that. Yeah. We want to break up the federal government.
And anyone who does that,
right?
Watch out.
Well, that's what's happening, though, right? That's what's happening. So he's like, I want to destroy the federal government, and I want each state to sort of conglomerate and make their city states and be their own thing, and then save a piece for the Muslims. That's what we want. That would be the ideal thing. But the foremost, first and foremost,
the way things have gone with the Muslim thing, like it's the Muslim feminist thing is so strange to me because it's like anyone who says anything about it's like on both sides. So if you don't wear a scarf, good for you. You're going against the religious patriarchy, guys. And then if you do wear a scarf, you should do that. Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, no, it is really weird. I mean,
it's like so weird.
It is, and you know that's what's going to happen is like
the theocracy of everything is really creepy.
Well, it's a false theocracy. You know, it's theocracy through fashion and through statement, through physical statement rather than actual belief in faith. Because now even faith is being corroded and corrupted. Yeah. You know, and I think that's where we're headed. Is that the first Civil War we have is about territory. You know, the South was here, the North was here. You know, the South was doing things we didn't like. We stopped that shit. Yeah. You know, we didn't want them having free labor because they couldn't compete with the North. So we need to stop that shit. So they did.
Also, slavery wasn't about, I'll say it, it's about money. It's not about race.
No, I think part of it was that the North couldn't compete with the South's labor force.
So many people have been slaves.
Right. They had free labor. The North didn't have that. They had anything they wanted, they had to build from scratch. And they needed the resources the South had. The South had too much control over the country with their slave force, and it had to be stopped. Not to mention it's a bad thing. So they needed to stop that. So it was an economic reason.
And slavery still exists in Africa.
Right. And slavery exists in different forms here too. But
it does, yes.
So,
human trafficking.
But we still had territory, right? You take Richmond, you take Gettysburg, you take these things, and you're going to knock down the South. It's going to be, but that's not how it works. Like in the Middle East, doesn't fight over, and they have territories that they say are own, but the basis is ideology, and you can't ever solve that problem